Oh, cool. That's in there. That's awesome. KidCon. We good?
Yeah. Can you turn? Oh, sorry.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Kid Contractor Hardscaper Hotline Live. Welcome to the show. What are you doing? You can turn that down. You got to aim it right at the little transponder thingy there. Transponder, big word by Auman. Hey folks, how you doing? We're live. We're here. Kent Waddell, how you doing? BJ's, all the intro stuff as usual. Got people pouring into the room here. This is great. YouTube.
You can actually read it now.
Britt, what? Yeah, is that at like 10%? Set it, put it at 10%. Hit 10% on that, and then show everybody what we're doing here. It's super cool. Hey everybody, Britt, do we have a topic? What are we going to be talking about today? Fresh Cut in the house. What's up, Fresh Cut? I got Fresh Cut too, by the way. Oh, Shane Neely's dad's in here, I think. I got Fresh Cut too. What's up? Hunt fish. The guy hunts fish. That's interesting.
We're late today.
We are late, folks. We're going to be punished by the YouTubes for that probably and the Instagrams. But we're here. Brett, what are we going to talk about today?
Whatever someone wants to talk about.
I have been cranking out quotes like crazy.
Someone stopped listening. Of course you would stop Brian.
Yeah, Luis, what's up? The Luis Barrett.
We have a coaching call.
I'm talking with him today, I think, at some point. Yeah. So, Brian, the landscaper, Sutton, Joshua Sutton with the new tilt rotator owner himself there, buddy. I'm happy for you. Congrats on that. Jealous, also, might I add. Fence Industry Podcast.
That's not healthy.
Jealousy? I have a jealous rage for Sutton getting a tilt rotator.
Do you need estimating and quantity takeoffs for your landscaping job?
Zishan, thank you. I do not. We use LMN for that at the moment. Our company's not big enough to need an estimator. It'd be cool if we were, but we're not there yet.
Josh Sutton is headed to the dermatologist. Yes, everyone, it is a great time to go to get your dermatologist check. It is not awkward at all. No, but they'll check in between your toes. They'll check your back.
In between other places. It's wild. Or at least that's what mine did. But that was the dentist. I thought that was weird. But
Caleb's had multiple things frozen off the side of his face from like sun hitting in the truck. And just sun, period. But like that's the side of the truck.
The left side of your face, especially an arm, because your hands out the window or arms out the window, and left side of your face gets the most exposure because when you're driving as well. But yeah, I've had a handful of precancerous things burn off the side of my face here. When they start to get a little hurty, they got to get pulled off there.
But I've had lots of stuff cut off my arm and where they like dig skin out. If I was smarter, I'd be able to post this in the like a screenshot.
Hey Weaver, how you doing?
Everyone needs to go.
I look like a UFC fighter. White shirt.
There we go.
Maybe in a haircut, but not physically. Although I'm training.
What's going on? Good morning. Good morning.
Mythgo, Mike Tyson's favorite company, Mythgo.
Mitchell, you'll have to ride
Mitchell's
your
going
motorcycle
to punch me in the face next time he sees me. Speaking of that stuff. Yeah, you need to cruise up here on that hog, dude, or whatever.
Let's talk about how we scale jobs and employees.
Technology and people. Number one, it's all about people. You got to hire good people and sell them on the vision of where you want to go. And then technology. We believe here in the Company Cam Studios, Company Cam is actually a great way to begin to help you scale because you can put all your jobs, photos with descriptions and drawings and doodles and all that stuff. That's like a great way, but people is it, man. So you got to hire the right people to help you grow and scale. And then you've got to learn to trust and delegate those tasks to people that allow you to do, like we've got guys working in the shop here.
And the trust and delegation thing is a learning curve. It's going to take you a minute to get the hang of that and to accept that they're not going to do things as good as you are right now. Eventually, they'll probably do things better than you.
Or do I have time to tell the Greg Whitstock story?
Yeah.
Which is about delegation. So Greg Whitstock tells this great story. The pawn guy tells a great story about the first time he turned one of his team members loose. And Greg is a crazy person. He's awesome, type A, very driven, all that kind of stuff, and is a excellent pond builder and he's not so much in the field doing that now, but the reality of it was he turned one of his guys loose to build a pond project first time ever. And he was real nervous about it. We finally turned him loose and then came back at the end of the day. I'm paraphrasing this, making it real short, but he came back at the end of the day. You could tell the foreman was really excited to show Greg the job, all that stuff. And then Greg went around the corner and could see this pond project was not the way he would do it. And it was going to have to be torn down and totally rebuilt. And he was dreading telling the foreman because it was going to be like really hard because this guy was very proud of his project. And he's getting ready to say it. And then the homeowner comes around the corner and they're ecstatic. And then Greg had this epiphany of like, we as owners and technicians and all that stuff are doing things maybe, and this goes for foremen too. Like we're performing at 110, right? And then maybe a foreman or project manager or whatever is performing at like an 80. Meanwhile, the client's expecting a 70 or a 65 or something. And he had this realization of like premier type top level quality work isn't always what the client is expecting necessarily. Little nuanced things that you see that no one else ever sees. And so for when you go to delegate things like that, that's what you've got to begin to realize is making sure your team is capable of producing at and above customer expectations, and then not necessarily at owner master craftsman expectations, unless you're a company that is specifically performing work at that level. And then you can only hire that level of employee anyways, ever. So that's kind of the quick lesson there. It was a really, really great story. I don't know where to tell you to find the full story of Greg's there, but it's a really good one. And it's a great lesson and point about delegating work to team members. So there we go.
For a new entrepreneur family man that's watching you guys, how do you all separate work from home life? Is it easier now with the new shop or office location?
To some extent, it is easier now, yes. But I've spent so much time here in the last year that kind of rules it out. The next coming year, yeah, kind of when we leave here, we're a lot more separated from it because the office stuff isn't there. At least for me, especially, actually.
Like I'm not taking my computer home. I haven't been doing that for the past couple of weeks, so that prevents me from working at home. And we have a set time to leave because our babysitter, when we were at home, the babysitter would leave and the kids would just keep playing and we would just keep working. But now the babysitter has to leave at 4:30. So one of us has to actually quit working and go home. So the new shop has helped us be more diligent with
That's a good question from Mitchell Gordy.
And that also like rolls into our evening routine. Like I'm going to start dinner at 4:30 and then we have to go to Taekwondo. And instead of just like everything, like working up to the very last second that I possibly can before I have to leave to take the kids somewhere or do something. So yeah, I'm excited for hopefully this good transition to continue. Someone asked, what is your SOP for polysand this time of year? We don't do it.
Cambridge, Ohio. Mainly is if we're doing any polysand this time of year, I just pretty much accept the fact that we're going to go back in the spring and do a flood coat or a heavy application of a joint stabilizing sealer. And that to me is worth it if we're still putting work in the ground at a profit. So, or keeping guys busy, whatever. So that's what we do there. Good question. Summit View, how you doing? CC, we got an awesome podcast coming up with those guys, man. Wait to hear about their crazy big hardscape projects they do, man. We've got some great guests on the show here recently. So be sure to check that stuff out. I'm going to let you
be safe. He's plowing, but he's keeping us in his cup holder.
Be safe. Hey, cool. Be safe out there. Stay hydrated, and staying hydrated while you're plowing is actually, a lot of guys don't realize how important it is to actually still drink a ton of water while you're plowing.
Remember that one time you came back from plowing? I don't know if you were cold or like too much energy drink.
I was having a caffeine withdrawal that made me look like a heroin addict when I finally crashed. It was the weirdest thing I've ever experienced. On the floor. It was the weirdest thing I've ever experienced. It was wild.
And I just kept putting blankets on him because I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, that was absolutely wild.
That was like a 24-hour event. That was a long one.
Wild Animal says, hello, guys. Hear a lot about you guys on the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Well, the Fullertons are good friends of ours, and we give each other a pretty hard time back and forth, I think, podcast to podcast. But Brian and I are good buddies, and Liz and Britt are good friends as well.
Liz isn't friends with you, though, because she doesn't even follow you on Instagram.
Don't hurt my feelings. But yeah, so good folks up there, really driven people. We love that about them. And so we really connect on like the amount of goal and drive we have respectively to each.
Okay. Any major differences as far as attachments and computer software with the tilt rotators? Which one are you all thinking about going with?
Tilt rotator, that's the one. I don't know. I mean, we're looking at Rototilt. We're looking at the green ones. What's his face? Just got it. Sutton, Steel Wrist, and of course Encon. So we're talking to them and talking to everybody about.
I think we'll put it on a 5-ton machine, though.
We believe that's going to be the route. 5-ton because we can still haul it around reasonably. I'd love it on an 8-ton. I'd love it on a 6-ton. But the hauling is the big issue.
And as far as the differences go, I don't think we've had enough experience between the different brands to
Right.
really say what the
really
difference are.
really the big thing I would say is the EC oil option is really a big deal. So not having to get out of the cab to switch to hydraulic attachments like
Did you
grapples and
see in
things
that
like that. That's a
catalog the
big
other
deal.
day the adjustable forks? Like
Yeah,
you can adjust it
that's a
from
must.
the cab
Yeah, that's an
in and
adjust.
out.
Well, they have those for skid steers and everything, but
okay.
yeah, but I mean, if you're going to do EC oil and you're going to do all that stuff, and you might as well get those forks.
Oh,
And
Matt LaMarche wants to stop in the video.
Can he? Let's do it.
I don't know how this works.
Yeah, so Matt LaMarche, buddy of mine, there down in Sandy Springs, Georgia. Yes, Paul, bring a coat. It's going to be cold. Denmark.
Paul, it's snowing right now. There's snow. Well, it's like rain snowflake things.
Let's see.
Denmark for Together in Trade 2020. Well, we'd have to find Denmark on the map to be able to put it on the website. So that might
everybody's a comedian.
That might take us a hot minute. What's up, gang? Matt LaMarche, when can I come visit? You can come visit this weekend for the podcast summit.
Matt, anytime, buddy. Days. You say the word. Anytime you come on up, we'll make.
Anytime
we'll make
Ohio's on your way. To
Handyscapers here says he may have landed his first outdoor kitchen job. I'm excited. Never done one before. Been wanting to do one for a long time. Any tips or pointers? Well, not knowing the extent of the outdoor kitchen, if there's any outside trades involved, of like as far as you need plumbers to run water lines or gas lines or whatever. Organization, scheduling is a big deal. That is a big deal. So I would really encourage you to really make sure you're setting accountable timelines to your subs. And then also when it comes to actually building the thing, especially on your first one, kind of making sure all your dry run is the same. And if you've, and it's going to take you longer than you anticipate if it's a building grill island and countertops and, like stainless steel doors. Yeah, like that stuff takes time to get set in there and stuff like that.
As much as you can figure out before you're on site, the better.
100%. Yep.
So on a rain day, that's a great thing for your guys to do on a rain day.
Congrats, Handyscapers. That's awesome.
When's the shop going to be 100% done? The Aumans never have anything 100% done. So
we're not known for finishing anything on 100%. But I mean, High Rise Transport, he was just on the podcast, actually our first in-studio guest officially. I don't know. The building is hopefully going to be, I say 100% will be 100% done in about a month. And, but then we still got the exterior, which is a whole nother year of construction. So Jason's in Hawaii. That's right. That's cool. Let's see here. Yeah, Connor Smith. Yeah, the kid contractor neon light there. It's actually LED.
It gets brighter, but
yeah, leave it down. It's fine.
I can show it.
Well, okay, that's fine. It also will do strobe and all sorts of stuff. Actually, like a
but that'll make me sick.
Cab light or whatever. Yeah, Britt would make Britt shake. Okay, so we started off talking on a topic or whatever. Did we get all our questions, everything through Graham, all that? All right, fantastic. But we started off on a topic. I was going down a road of something. I can't remember what it was. We talked delegation, but prior to that, I was kind of going down a road of something, but it doesn't matter. Other than that, so I've been bidding a lot of work, which is cool. I spent the first half of the week getting a lot of job quotes and stuff out. So I've spent a lot of the first part of this week doing that, and then got a lot of jobs out the gate. We've got a lot of commercial work. I say a lot, but two, like essentially catch basins a week for the next 5 weeks to do. So and 4. I'm sorry. So that's really exciting. Got a lot of that stuff. Our first one starts on Tuesday. It's not all catch basins, some riprap work, all sorts of stuff. So that's really cool. It's great revenue coming in through the winter. If we can get it around the
winter
weather.
Work that we've had in a while.
In a while, because I don't think we had a lot going on last winter. No. Kyle Fossey, what's up, man? I'm missing those lamb jerky things or whatever they were, summer sausage stuff, man. That was good. But so we've got that going, which is really cool. And then I've just been working a lot on getting quotes out.
The phone started to ring again.
It's funny, yeah. And we've got a few of our first official project quotes to go look at next week. And then also in that regard, I'm still trying to be good on this. And we've done some filet mignon champagne. Man, that's a fancy tag there. Handle, rather, Brittany. But I've been really working on trying to make sure that we're getting our spring booked up and getting that done, Mr. Fossey. Uh, which actually Mike Andes has. I'll have to find it. Jamie of Supremescape sent me a link to it. It's on the Mike Andes page talking about selling in a down economy, and it separates the men from the boys. Essentially, it's a great video of him, about a half hour into an hour long lecture that he gave, if you will, presentation. You might look that up because I think he's speaking a lot of truth about going into a potentially down economy, and it's been really phenomenal. I might do a whole podcast talking about it. We'll see here. So, yeah, we got that. Our guys are working in the shop here preparing for the podcast summit. We're trying to get all the offices and everything wrapped clean and painted and trimmed and
final touches,
all that stuff. Then the shop work starts tomorrow. JMB, what's up? Sorry, I missed one of your mentions the other day on Instagram. I apologize. We're really trying to keep up on that. And then let's see here. Somebody, Pat Newhouse. How far?
We're usually about 3 months out is what we typically run.
As far as being booked out. I don't like booking out a whole year or anything like that. But at the same time,
if you are the people that book out a full year, or you're able to do that, then make sure that it's in your contract that you can raise your price based on the economy.
Without a doubt. Yeah. And without a doubt. Inflation
that
changes.
Has to be in your contract. Even if your contract even if it's at the bottom of the page and you don't have like a 10-page contract, but Element has a free contract on their website.
Yeah, check it out. I'm wiggling the desk here. Digging with Drummy, what's up, man? And Joe Trebuzzo, what's going on? And Mr. Hedrick, what's up? Or Hetrick. Yeah, I mean, that kind of stuff is important. Even on short-term jobs, like, the PVC pipe over the last 2 years, the cost of that stuff has gone bananas. And I think it's all that stuff is gonna level out now price-wise. But and I say level out, stop going up, or don't even say it that way. It's going to go up more slowly if it does, and it won't. I don't believe be because of supply chain issues. Now it's just going to be because of mostly inflationary issues, things like that. Where are you going? Okay, boss has left me here, so I think that's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing. Turf and Timber, what's up? Because it indicates there is a slowdown in the economy. I listened to a podcast called Oil and Gas Weekly. I think that's it. And it's a oil and gas industry related, petroleum based podcast. And they're talking about we tried to accept you like 3 times, Matt. So I don't know. But we're what the heck was I saying? Oh, the Oil and Gas Weekly podcast. I'm trying to listen to that and a lot of other stuff, just to get a finger on the pulse of like what's going on globally and nationally and all that kind of stuff. They're saying diesel price is going to come down because demand is down and things like that. So there's good stuff there coming in the pipeline. But again, that indicates that other things are slowing down. So we just got to, Hardscapers, exactly. Like, the cost of PVC in the last few years has been absurd. Calco, what's going on, man? The cost of PVC going up is just absurd. And I had heard it's because the one Texas freeze we had a couple years ago. And then on top of that, the whole Devoche 91 thing. And it's not good. Solidity Pro. Wonder what that is. It's interesting. Calco there, really interesting concrete professional out there in California, as Mr. Tupac says. And, or no, I think Dre says it that way in that song. Do you work with landscape architects and designers? We do. We have a couple that we work with. Gino's, what's up? We have a couple that we work with. I want to bring in a designer, salesman, salesperson in-house on staff. That's kind of the next direction I want to take the company. But we have a couple that we work with. The problem is it's tough with our demographic. Like, we don't do a lot of like high dollar designs, stuff is like where the design should be really sold at like $2,500. We should be, we'll work on that here in a second, Matt. We should work on trying to, where was I going with that? We should be working on trying to get designer on staff here. But again, it's a whole nother growth level for the company and for us that, we're just kind of dealing with that. Mulder's helipad is not here yet. Unfortunately, I'm not going to get that installed till next summer. Or this coming summer. Matt LaMarche is going to join us. What the heck? Now remember, Matt, I can crash your lives next time. Matthew, how are you doing? I'm glad you got out of bed for the event. That's cool.
I just woke up, yeah.
I bet. How's it going, man?
What's going on?
Everything in the world, Matthew. So Matthew's now a real estate agent in Sandy Springs, Georgia, and was a lawn care business, a successful lawn care owner operator. Sold that company, got into real estate. Matt, what's real estate look like these days? Since I'll put you in the hot seat for that.
Yeah, good question. So I got connected to a couple agents up near you guys actually, and there's two things happening. It's just like contracting, though. I think it depends on what narrative you want to follow.
Sure, right.
But the first is the right homes in the right locations, the right price are always selling. So we can equate that to contracting by saying the good service providers with a great business plan and great marketing and great referrals and recommendations in place are always going to get business. The other half of the story is the properties that are reaching back to a year ago and going, but my neighbor got $600,000. Well, yeah, your neighbor had a new kitchen and some new bathrooms and all this other new stuff that you don't have, and we need to reset expectations. So it all comes down to expectation setting and communication, honestly, just like in contracting.
Yeah, it's funny, the parallels in business, period, right? Like it doesn't matter what business we're in. We talk about that on Kid Contractor podcast all the time. Like the parallels in business are all similar, right? Communication being a huge one. Matt, do you know anything about the commercial market in real estate? What's it look like and all that?
So typically we say that commercial leads residential. And obviously, major metropolitans are very different than rural areas. Anytime you see an influx of commercial activity happening in rural areas, you want to follow that money. And then to kind of segment that even more, whenever you see governments, municipalities, counties, cities, whatever, spending a lot of money on getting bonds to create city centers and new developments around cities, even from a park standpoint, that's always a good indicator of things that are going to start moving for you on the residential side. But commercial definitely is taking a change. Residential, as it relates to industrial spaces, has been bananas. All the logistical issues of the last 2.5, 3 years now have presented a whole different challenge for industrial. Obviously, commercial and retail have felt some pinch in general, but here in Atlanta, industrial is bananas right now, and we could create a ton more residential properties around industrial, but we're just not doing it. We're running out of land really, really quickly here in major metropolitan Atlanta.
Yeah, Matt, let's for the landscapers and lawn care operators in the audience here, say they want to network with a real estate agent because they feel like that could be a good relationship. What's a good way to like impress and please a realtor that's trying to spruce up a property or something?
Yeah, well, great question. And I'm so happy you asked this because I've been holding on to this story for like a good solid week now. This guy sent me a DM the other day. He owns a pressure washing company. So whatever service business you're in, whether it's hardscaping or landscaping or it doesn't matter, you don't send your website to a real estate agent expecting them to just go check you out. And so we had a text conversation back and forth, and I educated him, and I took him under my wing for a quick moment and said, look, I can see what you're doing here. There's a better way to do this. And so for me to approach real estate agents and realtors, it's really easy. You offer a value. Before I get my listing pictures done, I need that place like picture perfect, right? I need new mulch, I need new pine straw, I want new sod, I want that new back patio to be spotless. So you've got options there as far as pre-listing goes. But then for the buyer's agents, before they close, or even the week after they close, I actually have been known to give away pressure washing as like a closing gift. Because in the last 2 or 3 years, a lot of sellers didn't do anything to properties, and they were filthy inside and out. And cleaning the inside of the house, cleaning the outside of the house, pressure washing the driveway, pressure washing the house in general was something that was a huge value. It only cost me a couple $100, but it also built some really good loyalty. And I think I sent my pressure washing guy like $20,000 in business last year, and my landscaping guy probably 10 to 15 for installs, for maintenance. If you just want to connect with more real estate agents, you need to prove your value and you need to prove your worth up front. We actually don't care about the money. It's rarely about the money. It's more about scheduling and communication, how quickly you can get something done.
That's awesome, Matt. What else? Anything else you want to share? I'm neglecting my YouTube audience, so I got to run here. But what else? Anything you want to share off the top of your head, or promote, or push, or anything?
I'm so impressed by the building. I'm sure give Brittany all this kudos, right? Because that's all her doing.
I would say mostly, absolutely. So it's the design vision, definitely, and then I'm just here for grunt labor. So nothing's changed.
I'm kidding. It's impressive, and I'm so proud to call you guys friends, and it's just been amazing to watch your journey. So keep up the good work.
Cool, Matthew. Thank you, sir, and likewise, as always, folks. Matt LaMarche, check him out there, and super smart dude. I'm always happy to have him as my counsel for things that I reach out to him for. So, Matt, thanks for joining in, man. I appreciate it, buddy. All right, we'll see you. All right, I don't know how that cancels out, but
what's so crazy is I remember the first time we went to go see him on the way home from Florida one year. We randomly stopped by his house. Not randomly. I mean, he knew we were coming.
Well, yeah, just a dude we met on the internet. And we're like, we're going to stop and visit, Matt.
And we did. We took the kids there. That was.
We were in our first car that I ever bought, and it was my little cash car. It was my, what was that? A Chevy Equinox. Yeah, I was so proud of that little car. Anyways, that was bought that car cash. Cool. I was so proud of myself. It was awesome. It was my first nice car.
Though, how cool would it be if you were known to have like essentially like an emergency crew for realtors, like because he said like availability is the biggest thing. So what if you were not an emergency, like what landscaping is an emergency, but like we can get out there within 5 days of you calling us, no matter what. And we just had a crew that was able to cleanups, of course. But that would probably be like a great thing to be known for, a service to offer.
Well, that's the Mark Bradley TBG concept is, with their 20 crews, they would always keep 2 crews in reserve of like a rapid response crew, right? They wouldn't book them up at all in the winter time for the spring because they knew there were gonna be those last minute things. And that's what they ran through was like, hey, these guys are available. We can have them there next week, a whole crew of people for whatever kind of project. But it's going to come at a premium. And I think it's brilliant business.
It would be cool if that crew was it would be cool if that crew was very well versed in like multiple areas of the business. So if they knew how to do drainage and they knew how to do cleanups and they knew, it just wasn't like your install crew or your cleanup crew, because, say they're selling a house with a drainage issue or they need a French drain ASAP before the basement floods or something like that. That's when you're really handy. So, okay. Do you recommend incorporating Hardscape to my lawn service business? I heard you do some work in the winter. We've had no snow in New Jersey, so it's a pretty depressing winter up here.
Yeah, Wild Animal. And if you're still around, thanks for waiting. I appreciate that. Back on YouTube questions here, folks. I want to get the Matt's thing there at some point. So here's what I say is you should try the Hardscape thing if you're thinking about it or you want to do some research, look into it, maybe try a couple jobs, build a small little project, buy the complete training course at the hardscapeacademy.com, paver install course and retaining wall course. Watch that, go to other training conferences and resources, and try a couple projects and see if that's a route you want to go. And then decide, okay, cool. Because the problem is with hardscaping, if you're doing it right and proper and then profitably, the amount of infrastructure it takes, tools, equipment, loaders, trailers, logistics, the planning, the selling, all that stuff. It's a thing you need to take very serious. It's not something you dip your toe in. It's not like you just put a plow in your truck and you're in the snow business. You don't buy a saw and you're a hardscaper, which you could call yourself that, whatever. But really, to do hardscaping proper, it's a tremendous investment to get it right and to do it right and to do it to where you make money out of every job, or Lord willing, most jobs. So give it a shot. If you like it and you find passion in it, then yeah, go for it. But plan on scaling back, in my opinion, the lawn care business and going more forward in construction and getting into bigger dollar projects. I think lawn care at the end of the day, either you got to be a super route dense owner operator or scale it to 10 crews. There's no in between, it seems. And then, or otherwise get into projects with larger dollar amounts. That's, I think, at the end of the day, what it comes down to. You got to get into more project. Your career has to evolve into more project-based green industry stuff. What did Matt have to say there about the response thing? But thank you for the question, Wild Animal.
Harbins say they do emergency service like that in our area. Matt Lamarche says most agents plan out a week or two, and you could proactively reach out to them and see what they need ahead of time.
And then you've got to be known for being if they say, hey, we need this in like 2 weeks, you better show up, because it's like any relationship. If you don't perform, then it's not going to work. J&B, we'll see you. Happy Thursday. And I'll tell you, that's the biggest thing. Eikenberry, what's up? That's the biggest thing with, just building relationships in general. It's do what you said you're going to do. And if you're not going to, you better communicate the heck out of it. And as early as you're not going to be able to do what you said you're going to do. And that's the premise of all relationships. And so, last week we had a issue with a contractor, actually local, Power Lines Electric, Scott, good buddy of ours here at the Kid Contractor Podcast. Actually more of Auman HQ than the podcast. I don't think he even understands what the podcast is, but that's okay. Scott, I love you. But they had kind of a wild schedule of a day. We need to come in and backfill trenches for them that they were having hydro excavated. It was a neat project to be part of. But we hauled in machinery on a great big house to get their trenches backfilled before we flooded their basement and stuff. And we had to get in there and get the dirt in. It was going to rain. The guys had to work late, like all that. But we came through and we performed and got it done. And we hopefully preserve that relationship and keep it better for the next game, because we showed up when we said we're going to show up. We actually showed up earlier than we expected to and wanted to, frankly, but we need to do that to get in there to perform and serve them, so that we hopefully have that next job with them down the road, because they know we're going to come through. And that's the name of the game, folks. Now, again, for that kind of service, you got to charge the right amounts, right? You can't give that kind of work and time and response capability away. But there's a quid pro quo, if you will. I also have Scott's aerial lift in my shop. I've been using it to build the shop. So we're definitely going to bend over backwards. But again, it's about the relationship building. That is what it's about. Read the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. It's a classic. Really is the way to go. Yeah. What else going on here?
How much snow did you guys get below Columbus?
Yeah. I think we got
2 inches.
Okay. I was going to say 3, but about 3 inches, 2-3 inches, whatever.
It's all gone now.
It's all gone. Nate's Lawn Care 740. That's our region here somewhere. Well, it could be north of Columbus too, Nate 740. But yeah, that was a little disappointing, but I tell you what, we do not plow at all. We didn't even plow our own driveway with our skid steers. We had 3 skid steers here. We didn't move any snow on our own property at all. Because A, we're on gravel, and B, it was slushy and wet and just didn't need to. Now, Kyle Flossie gave my boys, a gas-powered snow thrower. It was an old Sears thing or Craftsman or something. We fired that up and went to go out and blow snow off of the apron outside the shop area. And the snow was too slushy and wet, and the two-stage wouldn't chuck it. It also needs a tune-up. I think needs a little more power out of it. Put turbo on that sucker. Delaware, yep. Delaware, Ohio. No, exactly. Best training I ever had, Dale Carnegie. Absolutely, Master Lyra. No joke there. That was one of the best books. I think it should be mandatory high school reading. That and another book. Write this one down, folks. The Richest Man in Babylon. Absolutely must have, must read. Craftsman 44. What's going on? With a name like Craftsman, you better be good. Yeah. So the relationship thing is so critical of doing what you said you're going to do when you said you're going to do it. And if you come through when you said you're going to come through and do it, we have another company local that they would call and say, hey, we got a situation. We need some reclamation work done in a hurry. People are freaking out. It's compliance issues. It's all this stuff. CJ Haley, what's up? And then we're like, we don't have time for it, but you bet we'll get up there and get it done. We'll get somebody on it right away. And we do. And we build up those relationships. And guess what? Years later, after doing that for years, I had a serious issue with that actual service provider that I needed them last minute, yesterday kind of deal. And they came through for me. And that was cool. And I don't know if it's because of all that. I don't know how that works. But we got some things taken care of way faster than normally it would because we were in a bind and they took care of us because we've been taking care of them, I'd like to think, for years. So that was very cool. It's tit for tat, quid pro quo. That's how it goes, Britt. Let's see. RC Outdoor. What's up, Rich? I haven't talked to you in a while. Hope all is well. So on the snow end of things, I don't miss the management end of stuff. Like,
It seems like all the snow guys,
which we haven't done that
live for
forever.
it, though.
Snow is one of those things. There's some guys in it begrudgingly, and there's other guys in it because they live for it. Handyscapers, Richwood High. I wonder where that is. I don't know where Richwood is. It's flurrying here is what I would call it. Backyard boys in the house. Those guys, some Columbus fellas there. But most value packaged page. Oh man, my eyes are getting
Man,
bad.
your eyes are getting bad too.
No, actually, well, no, I saw packed page,
yeah.
and I just lumped it all together.
I saw it too.
But thank you. We try, and sometimes we fall short of that for sure. But yeah, I repeat myself again. North Marysville. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't miss when I did way back, way back, and even then I was a snowblower and like shoveling and throwing salt out of the back of a pickup. Like I didn't know. Whatever. I hate salt. I hate snow for that reason. But I am glad to not have to be watching the weather all the time. We don't have to have Weather Central, Command Central in here, keeping an eye on radars and forecasts. And
that would be cool, though.
We had the facility to do it. It looked pretty awesome, I got to admit. But no, I have no interest in that. My guys don't have, it's already tough enough to motivate the guys to do stuff that they half want to do. I am sure going to have a hard time motivating them to do the things they definitely don't want to do. So we're not going to go down the snow road ever. I would say is safe to say.
And
probably.
Our stormwater work we can't do when it's snowing. So
yeah, so trying to keep busy in the winter, demolition work, vegetation clearing and management, if we have any of that going on at all, and ideally with no chainsaws involved. I try to keep our guys running no chainsaws ever. I hate chainsaws. They're super dangerous. They're probably the most dangerous weapon there is. Chainsaws are insanely dangerous. I rant on that all the time, so I'll spare everybody the digression there. But that, and then the stormwater work, we still get out and do some excavating. I got a request for a French drain the other day. I'd like to go slop that thing in the ground here. But I sent him a quote or sent him a ballpark estimate of what it would cost to do a French drain. It's the second time they've called us now about it, but apparently I don't know if they thought our price would go down. Saludos from Uruguay, South America. Well, hello, saludos. I'm guessing that's salutations or greetings or hello.
They had to tell us where it is.
Well, I mean, there's only so much capability, bandwidth my brain has. And
we're out of bandwidth.
But yeah, South America, very cool. Uruguay. Hello. Thank you, Rodriguez. Rodriguez L. Perkins. I don't know. I probably botched that. I'm sorry. But what was I talking about? French drain. So yeah, so hopefully we can do that. But otherwise, again, and then a big thing with budgeting and stuff like that, and how are we paying guys right now? My mom joined. Hello, mother. I love you. The big thing with this is too, and it's still tough every year to see the money leave the account and payroll, but also we've just got to get stuff done. Is budgeting using LMN. We use LMN promo code. What is our promo code? Auman? I don't know. Whatever. LMN, landscape management. But we use that to do our budgeting. So we budget 12 months of labor head, 12 months of overhead labor. We cram that into 10 months of overhead. Yeah. So for 10 months of production, thank you. And so that 2 months we're paying guys to do essentially nothing really revenue generating. We are recovering that in the 10 months prior. So that extra $1 or $2 an hour is being recovered in jobs. And that allows us to be prepared for the next season to better serve our clients. It's just always a rolling ball forward. Brandon Harris, Lone Grove, Oklahoma. Where's that at? I'd be curious to know. Love Oklahoma. It's my second home. Right, Britt? It was for a while anyways, but it's always my runaway state.
We are not getting a house in Oklahoma.
Lone Grove. Tim from Texas joined. got all sorts of red dirt here. Bow saw chainsaw. Got my uncle's hand when he was a logger. A bow saw chainsaw. Whoa. If I'm thinking what I think that is, that's like that's a pretty crazy sawing device there. So yeah, chainsaws are. I mean, everybody's got a close call story with a chainsaw, if not a full disaster story with a chainsaw. And I really advise you try to keep those things out of your company if you can, or only have certain people run them in the company, you know, that are better with them and safer with them and stuff, because the liability is unreal. And kickback or putting it into your thigh or whatever. We've had a lot of fortune with or fortunate experience. Yeah, isn't that wild? Isn't that crazy? Try to put that up there so you can show folks what a bow saw.
What a bow saw.
Yeah, there you go.
Chainsaw is.
Yeah, that's gnarly. That's rad. Making men out of boys since 1970. But with a brush saw on a we got a big Husqvarna like 750 unit or something. I don't know what the heck it is, but it's got a big brush blade on the end of it, saw blade, and that's great. A lot safer, and you're not on your hands and knees, you know, when you're grubbing out brush, stuff like that. I think it's really handy. What do you use for screed bars? We use the only thing that you should use, in my opinion, yes, 3/4 inch black iron pipe or gas pipe.
ID or OD?
3/4 inch is ID. The OD then measures 1 inch.
Which is the inner diameter.
Yeah, inner diameter, inner dimension, whatever you want to call it. And then the OD, outer dimension, outer diameter, measures 1 inch. But that's the ideal. If you're using a sand for pavers or a number 9 stone, if you're using like a number 8 or something like that, you might go to a little bit larger pipe. But we like the black iron pipe because it's heavy, it's stout, it stays put a little more instead of being bouncing and flopping around like PVC or conduit or even what is it, EMT, like galvanized pipe kind of stuff like that. So we like using a black iron pipe.
How do you store the black iron pipe?
You just throw that stuff anywhere. Who cares what happens to it? It gets bent, tacoed. Nobody cares. Whatever. Our echo is better in here, by the way. It is slowly improving or reducing, I guess, if you look at it that way. But yeah, so that's the ideal thing that you want to use. Jason Cease, how often are you using the gator base, if at all, or geosynthetic base is what we call it? Excuse me. I tend to use it exclusively as a solo guy because it reduces labor, but I find that the tiles bounce up when vibrating the sand down and causes unevenness. So if you're using, you have to reach out to your geosynthetic base manufacturer. Pride Hardscape, what's up? Terry, 2-part question. Lord have mercy. I love geosynthetic base for pavers. We have a great video on our YouTube channel. Check that out there. It's got like 300,000 views or something. It went bananas. It's our only viral video, I guess I would say. But dude, the studio's dope, man. It's Pride. You have to fly out this way on your private jet sometime. Check it out. Be on the show. But I love geosynthetic base, and I think it's way underutilized in the industry. I think it's way underutilized, and it's one of those things because us hardscapers are hard-headed, and we always done it on stone. Why would we do it on styrofoam? And so, but again,
the conditions have to be right for it, though.
Exactly. The caveat is, what is the caveat, Britt? Tell us. You know.
Go ahead.
What?
Go ahead.
The caveat is, and I'm only covering for you because maybe you don't know.
I do know. It's the excavation. If you have to excavate more than however many inches, it doesn't make sense because you're still taking out that much.
Exactly. Or
so you pretty much can't have a lot of grade change. So if there's like no grade change on your project, then it's a perfect application because you're just stripping the organics.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Right, okay.
And not only cut, but also the fill is the big thing. So if your yard slopes off real heavy and you got to end up building out the outer half with 3-4 inches of base, then it doesn't matter. The cost of the stuff, you don't want to lay that expensive geosynthetic base on top of your already 3 or 4 inches of base. It's designed to only be sitting on top of 1 inch of setting bed. I mean, it's great. It's way underutilized in the company. We put down thousands of square feet of it now, but the project has to be right for it. Not all of them are, unfortunately, but we use it every chance we get.
What are a few benefits you offer when hiring employees?
Mr. Hetrick, go ahead, Brett.
We
take it away.
Offer you get a week's paid vacation, paid holidays, 2 personal days, and we have a retirement plan that we match up to 3%.
And all that's based at certain increments of time. But I think 6 months is when most of them kick in. Maybe I don't even know. It's very, I would say,
some of it kicks in after 3 months. But the other thing that we do offer is we're really reasonably flexible. So if you need to go get your kid from school, or if they have a Valentine's,
we say 9.
If they have a Valentine's Day party that you want to attend,
we say niet.
We are very accommodating to such things, because I know that I want to be able to, and I want Caleb to be able to. So I want to provide that for the guys also.
No.
2-part question. How much do you want to grow this year? And if things get bad in the economy, what percentage can you shrink to survive?
I think Mike Andes, again, on that YouTube video, check that out, was talking about plateaus of stability. And I think we can hover right where we're at or just under 7 figures pretty reliably, because what his point was, if you've been in business, or if you're doing 500 grand worth of work minimum, he said 0 to 500. Really, really what it is, it's clientele based. So like he says, at 500 you can stabilize pretty easily, right? Because you've been in business for a certain amount of time, and you have a certain book of business, right? And you have all these clients, and you have a certain amount of clients you can call on and beat the war drum and drum up work. I've been in contracting for 20 years. I have 20 years of relationships. That if things were to get bad enough and I start calling up old clients, hey, what you got going on? We can offer some specials. I mean, if it were to get really ugly, we've got thousands and thousands and thousands of square feet of pavers we put in over the years. We could offer to come in and do power washing and cleaning of those, spruce them up at an aggressive rate if we had to. Whatever. Our overhead is despite this giant building, is actually very low and very reasonable and very manageable, which has all been a part of our calculated growth. As our sticker on the wall in there says, building reputation by design. Well, again, this is it's all been very intentional. So keeping your overhead reasonable, keeping your debt loads manageable, and being as liquid as you possibly can. I'd be banking up as much cash as you possibly can. And just in case, and then make cuts when you have to, if you have to sell stuff, cut back on phone plans, whatever the heck you have to do. But it's a good time to start cutting some fat if in preparation for it. 'Cause it's easy to get fat and sloppy in the good times. And I can't say that we've been immune to that ourselves. But we've also still always kept I've been in contracting long enough. I went through the 06 through 09, like economic turndown. So while it really didn't affect me financially, more my own stupidity affected me financially. Well, actually, no, my own stupidity is what ruined me financially during that time, not the actual downturn in the economy. Because I wrecked my first company. If you don't know that, check out Kid Contractor podcast, episode 100. It starts to tell the whole story there. We should probably just advertise that episode alone. Would probably be like a great intro to the show. Hunter, get to work on that. I'm late. Are you leaving this up for replay? Yes, absolutely. Lawnscapes of America. But yeah, so that's, I think, the big thing. Turno, what's up? That's at the end of the day, the big thing. Keep your overhead reasonable, be able to pivot, and start beating a war drum now even. But don't bid things and price things out of fear now. Price stuff normal until you start seeing more and more rejections than like 50% or whatever an uncomfortable closing ratio is. And then start looking at like
turning your bid around on time and following up and doing all the things that you're supposed to do.
Those that you haven't had to do over the last 15 years.
Now is the time to kick that in.
Yeah. And so I think that's the biggest thing with what's coming financially. Certified, what's up? I think that's the biggest thing with what's coming is you're just going to have to sell again. People are actually going to have to put some effort into sales. It's not going to just be manna from heaven again. Or, it's, or it may be, we thought the end of the world was after 9/11 and nobody'd ever spend any money ever again. And same with COVID and all that crap. And what do you know? It ended up being the best thing for the hardscape and landscape industry. And I don't think I think living space outdoor living space has become a new American standard of living. And I don't think that aspect of the company, or I'm sorry, of the industry will get hurt too badly. We'll see. But the lawn mowing and all that stuff, I mean, it also depends on the demographic of people you're taking care of. There's a lot to discuss there. It really is. But just start thinking ahead and figure out what your weaknesses are, especially financially. Start jumping ahead on that. You want to scroll back in questions here, Britt, and maybe wrap this thing up?
That's all. Is insurance an issue for potential employees? even if it is, I don't have a good solution for it right now. Any plan,
Like health insurance, I'm guessing.
any plan that I would get would be not economic. No one would want to pay for it. My dad had a small HVAC company and he offered insurance, and the deductibles and the rates were so high, it was almost insulting to even offer it because there was just nothing you could do for a small company. We just don't have. Now we might be able to get into like a group plan. The Chamber of Commerce used to offer a group plan that people could get into, but I don't know that they did that. I think that canceled after Obamacare came in. So it's not something that I've explored because it hasn't been requested yet. And frankly, I don't know that I could offer it even.
And with all the marketplace options and stuff out there, I mean, I don't know that it's as important as it used to be to provide health insurance, although it's a great benefit and perk. Most things, so far as I can tell these days, people want flexible time. They want flexible time off, flexible hours. And if you can provide that
I have a friend who worked in the insurance business, and they have multiple offices around Ohio, and they have some in Florida and Kentucky. And they had someone from HR go around to every person and ask, what is it they would like from the company? And overwhelming response was flexible hours. So instead of having to come in from 8 to 4 every day, they want to flex their time and come in 9 to 5, or if they need to take their kid to school or something, they wanted flexible time. So, you think people might want health insurance, but maybe ask around, maybe see what they want. And it might be something easier to grant than insurance.
Let's burn through these questions and we got to sign off here. We got a lot to do. We got the podcast summit this weekend here at the shop.
Do the Grabos work on a regular type? I'm assuming it's Grabos. Work on a regular type of 2x2 sidewalk blocks.
Oh, let me go back to Gator base, the geosynthetic base. He mentions tiles. Yeah, I could see that being an issue if you're using like porcelain tile that's only 3/4 of an inch thick or something. You would not compact those. You would set them, sand them, and forget it.
And that's the thing with Gator base. Your
geosynthetic base. They don't pay us to say Gators.
Your geosynthetic base has, whatever is below it has to be perfectly flat. It can't have like
undulations or anything, right?
Sure. Okay. Grabos, will they pick up regular?
They will not. Sorry. On dry cast, no, it's not that. Dry cast paper, he says 2x2. I'm thinking he's talking 2 foot by 2 foot. They will not because they're too porous. You need an actual vacuum system. Talk to Probst, our friends at Probst, Probst, and reach out to them about picking up those kind of slabs. You'll need some vacuum slab equipment for that.
Okay. So much congratulations on all the growing success you both having and continuing to have. It's been awesome to follow you. Struggles over my happiness everywhere.
Thank you. Made by Right. And it's not all, hey folks, listen to this. All this awesome building and all this has not come without literal blood, sweat, and tears, fights, disagreements, arguments. It's been ugly at times this year, folks. I don't even want to front that this has been like an easy process or like we've been all happy Instagramming the whole time. It's been ugly at times, folks. I mean, ugly. And so just always want that truth out there. I never want this to look like it's easy. And if it's hard for you, you think, man, what the hell? Everybody else seems to be doing like awesome and not having like cash flow issues or scares or relational fights and that kind of strife and where you don't talk to each other for 2 weeks, that kind of shit. Like it's everybody deals with it. And so no matter how shiny it looks on Instagram, folks, there is sometimes scuffs below the surface, let's say. Okay, where are we at? Did we smoke this backwards probes? There we are.
We actually just got the backworks system.
Yeah, good thing is,
and the guys are so excited to use it.
Let's wrap this thing up. Yeah, so there's Probst, folks. Check out Probst in the live here. Follow them. Shoot them a DM if you have questions on that kind of stuff. They'll set you up with the right equipment. Let's see here. Let's knock this out. So I'm hungry and I have not eaten breakfast, which is super unusual. I'm a princess. I have to have my fuel. This diesel engine's got to have fuel, folks. Really appreciate your knowledge about the nuts and bolts of installation. Jason C says, this is cool. Thank you. I want to say thank you for Hardscape Academy. I never done any paperwork, but sold the work and watched your videos, and clients couldn't have been happier. You helped me expand. That is that's awesome. That's like super exciting. And that is part of the goal, folks, of the altruistic goal. Wild Animal, we street sweep shopping centers here in Philly, Jersey. Solely seasonal contracts. We bank on little or no snow, which is smart. Never build your budget solely off snow. That's a bad idea. And street sweepers, that's cool. That's really awesome. How do you guys like dealing with certain property management companies? Some of them are terrible. Some of
We
them are
don't deal
awful,
with
and
a
you
lot
don't
of
want to
them,
deal
though.
with them. We have a couple that we work with that are great and have been awesome. And we're doing everything we can to bend over backwards to serve those clients. By the way, Green Foundry Co. folks, check out Green Foundry. They're a supporter of the Hardscape Academy here for your lighting, landscape lighting. If you've got questions, you want to have it designed, they will help you design it. They will then sell you the freaking lights, and you'll make money doing lighting installs. And it's super rewarding, fun, cool work. So check out Green Foundry. I feel like as old 1940s broadcasters, check out our friends at Green Foundry, big supporters of the show. Here's a weekly radio show on AM radio.
Okay. All right. I have to go feed him before he's like.
Okay,
Bad
one
for
last
the
thing.
day.
Landscapes America, thank you. Let's see here. I think there was one other thing. I think we're good. Cool, folks. That's it. Matt Miller. Hey, or Matt the Miller. I mean, maybe that's the same Matt Miller. I don't know, but hello. All health insurance stinks and health savings, even health savings. Yeah, the HSAs. There's not. We go down the free market route of that discussion, but we'll save up for another day. Folks, from the Kid Contractor Podcast, Company Cam Studios, Auman HQ, beautiful Fairfield County, Ohio. Yeah, the special haircut, exactly. Folks, Britt, I love you for all you deal with. That can be found on our OnlyFans page. Not really, but somebody bother looking, it's not a thing. Or how do you think we paid for this play? Wait, that's all right. Anyways. Folks from the Company Cam Studios, we'll check it out on the next one. We'll see you. We do need that Company Cam thing in back.
I have one ordered.